I'm going to catch that tiger sooner or later. Hey, Mark Gassert, Sales Concepts via Mark's Message. It is Wednesday. Can you believe it is the third day of the month in February? I've been noticing it staying lighter just a tad longer. And, why are we here today? We're here to celebrate a beautiful Wednesday, moving right along. We're here to talk about asking questions and qualifying, and you can see the ticker down there. It's going to happen in about 3 hours to be exact, at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, asking questions and qualifying. And I have to share this. Just was looking around here, and this is something we put out, but there you go. The only way to discover what it is of value is to ask questions. Think about that. The only way to discover what is of value is to ask questions. So I'm going to delve right into this here in terms of that. So let's pull that out of there and let's get into it. Let's get into, what are we going to be talking about today at 11 a.m.? So it boils down to asking questions and qualifying, asking the right questions, knowing where you stand, identify, and confirm your assumptions. Now, let's get into that a little bit more as to the power of questions, right? Then we're going to get into successful people ask great questions. And a lot of times when we're looking at questions, it's not like how many people are on your sales team, what do you guys gross a year, or what colors you're building. You got to ask questions that mean something to the client. And if you remember, we talked about FUD one time, the obstacles to asking those type of great questions. And what the heck am I talking about FUD? Well, when you break it down, FUD, we don't ask enough questions because of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And that's what we're talking about. A lot of times you're afraid to ask those questions. And you've always constantly got to look at it from the customer's perspective. But for instance, you could ask when you engage with a customer, whether it's virtually on the telephone, or if some of you are lucky enough face to face, it's okay to ask them, hey, since you're going to move forward with my product or service, how do you see this working for you and your team? What do you expect out of this training? Or, what's going to take place once you take ownership? How are you going to implement this process? Those are all good questions. Get them thinking. It's not about like, hey, is this too much? Or what are you looking to pay? Or do you believe in investing in your people? And that's important, but, ask some things that apply to them, or how have things been since you've gone through what we've all gone through the past, 8, 9 months, how is what my solution, how's that going to help you? What are you looking for? And those are all good things to ask. And it all comes down to develop superior questions. Ask the sale from the buyer's perspective, which I just mentioned, which gets into this. So you've asked, now listen. And when I say from the customer's perspective, WIIFM, what's in it for me? That's what it's all about. And so when you ask, please listen, engage with them. Whether you are doing something on a live stream, or you're doing a Zoom, GoToMeetings, Microsoft Teams, right? Make sure you have eye contact, and make sure you have a good connection as well if you're doing something virtually. Very important. Don't be looking down with your head down and trying to do that multitasking thing. And I'll just be perfectly blunt. When you try and multitask, you're half-assedly doing things out there. So focus and touch it once and take and be accountable for you and do it in that manner. When you're talking to someone, that is the most important thing right then and there. Little tip here, even if you're talking to your spouse, your children, engage. Okay? Don't get distracted by the dings, pings. Turn your phone off or put it in another room. That's what I always like to do. And so then the next thing we're going to talk about is methods to improve listening. And I just talked about some right there. What you can do. This is all basic things. However, if you don't look at it from the other person's point of view, you're not going to be constantly challenging yourself. And then here's my all-time favorite. Assumptions impede our ability to ask questions and listen. We think we know, your approach. Can I and this is where it all boils down to. This is what the customer's thinking. And excuse the little blip there, but can I trust you? Very important. Can you help me? Okay, as you're, ranting, or do you care for me? So it all boils down to trust, help, and care. And if you come across that way and have a program or a service that is applicable and can help the person that you're engaging with, then they're going to sit back and say, hey, I feel like I can trust him. He's here to help me. He or she's here to help me. And they care about me. So, yeah, I'm going to listen to what they have to say. And I just wanted to share that with you. And once again, if you want to venture forward, you don't have to. This is just some things that I'm sharing, tips and tricks out there in the real world, so to speak. But here's how you can get a hold of me if you ever want to engage with me, mgassert at salesconcepts.com. If you choose, you've still got time, you want to hop on board, you can go to salesconcepts.com/qualifying. You can just go to salesconcepts.com, check us out, see what we have to offer. Yes, it does cost $139 to invest in yourself. And if you come back to me any Wednesday and say, Mark, it was a total bust, I will gladly refund the $139. There's my phone number if you care to call me. It's right there at 678-624-0895. Once again, salesconcepts.com. That's the place to be, And what we're about is customization, taking programs, whatever they are, and customizing it for you, specifically the listening audience. As I kiddingly like to say, we're going to romance you in a very special way with our programs, believe me. So once again, what we're talking about is asking questions and qualifying. Most important of all, being a resource. So when you go into this process, make sure you have things in order, and you bring ideas. One or two ideas, it's not a bad thing to do. So again, what we talked about here briefly, asking questions and qualifying, ask the right questions, know where you stand, and identify and confirm your assumptions if you have any. And there we are again. That's how you can get a hold of me. And if you want to talk about any of our other programs other than our weekly Wednesday workshops, that's how we can engage with one another. And I encourage it. Feel free. So, where do we go from here? Well, it is a magnificent Wednesday. I want everybody to have a successful day out there. And most important of all, remember, trust, help, and care. The three, right? Don't be a salesperson in the sense that you're doing all the telling. Sit back, take a deep breath, and relax. Have fun with the process out there. Everybody, it's okay. I spend a lot of time on the phone. Believe me, I have a lot of fun with people. So, with that, it's all about being a leader, being a friend, being a service. And once again, this was Mark Gassert, Sales Concepts via Mark's Message. Yeah, that's right. It is the peachiest place on the planet. And we hope that you take a look And remember, right? About questions. So when you get down to it in its purest form, what are we talking about here? We could be talking about some things that, how about that? The only way to discover what is of value is to ask questions. That's kind of the quote of the day here, right? The only way to discover what is of value is to ask questions. There's the website, you can go to it. And, I always like to leave with a quote or two. So, I can't just walk away from here. So, here's my all time favorite. And it's in regards to attitude, but there it is. It isn't simply a state of mind, it is a reflection of what you value. Attitude is more than just saying I can, it is believing you can. Always making today my best day. And that's kind of where I'm coming from here today. There's my message. Attitude is simply a state of mind. It is the reflection of what you value. Attitude is more than just saying, I can. It is believing you can. Always making today, my best day. What happened yesterday, let it go. Let it go. All right? And focus on today and what you can do today. All right? Just flush it, let it go. As I say, FIDO, FIDO, forget it and drive on. That's the name of the game here today, guys. So, wishing everybody a successful Wednesday. And as always, as we talk about it, don't forget, guys, be a leader, be a friend. Most important of all, be of service. Mark Gassert, Peachtree Corners, Georgia, the peachiest place on the planet. Via Mark's message, this was Sales Concepts, and I'm coming at you live and getting ready to have a very, very, very successful Wednesday, and I challenge you to do the same. Catch you later, everybody.